Hey everyone, and welcome to today's exclusive live stream where we will talk about one of the most important skills nowadays, storytelling. And today we will learn how to create crisp and clear stories powered by AI. And today we will reveal elements of great storytelling from literature and marketing. We will demonstrate how to create ChatGPT assistant to build compelling stories, and we will turn your resume or LinkedIn profile into a story that will impress any VIP contact, and much more. So, my name is Kate Hateva. I'm a career and leadership coach here in Silicon Valley, and my passion for developing people's talent and community building led me to found a nonprofit organization called Career Pathway Institute. And we are here to help people to thrive and be successful in their careers here in the US. And my team is very passionate about using AI tools, and we constantly learning how to leverage AI into our daily operations. And I'm very excited to introduce my special guest, Jane Kubrak. Thank you so much, Jane, for joining us today. And let me introduce you briefly. Jane is product marketer and consultant. She has crafted stories for tens of investor pitch decks, hundreds of job interviews, and several products she has been bringing to the market. Thank you once again for joining us today and sharing your experience.
Thank you for having me, Kate. It's such a special pleasure to meet you, especially that we are on different sides of the world. I'm in Europe, in Montenegro, and you're in North America. And as I've noticed, some of our guests, the listeners, are also from North America. So it's cool to be connected. And
Yes.
these events, this is such a great way to share experience, but also meet new people. And I hope we will have some conversations in the end, but we'll see.
Of course, and we will share your contacts below the description of this video.
Yeah,
So,
and also I've prepared the presentation, and the presentation also contains the links to my accounts and to the GPT assistant that I'm gonna show today, and hopefully it's gonna help us show some nice examples.
can't wait to start. So, without further ado, let's go.
Yeah, so let's get started. Yeah, so this is our presentation, and the topic is mostly storytelling with a bit of AI. I'm going to share some of my experiences with storytelling, which come from marketing, some scientific facts, because I also recently started researching this topic for a research paper, so a bit of academics. And yeah, I'm going to show you the GPT bot. Uh, and yeah, I have an intro slide in the presentation traditionally. But what's important here is that I've been in corporate finance and strategy in big corporations for 8 years. And it was such a formal corporate background where I introduced myself like this. And then I started working with startups, doing some freelance projects, and started introducing myself like this. So this is me in Montenegro on this reef boat, and this is more lively, and this is how my life looks like. So today we are going to talk about where to get this information from, so to craft this story. So why context is important and why storytelling actually works. Then we're going to talk about the storytelling techniques you can use. I'm going to just briefly cover the surface here, not going deep into each technique, because we could, I don't know, spend an whole hour on hero journey or something like that alone. We're not gonna. The presentation is going to take maybe 20-30 minutes. And then I'm going to show you the GPT assistant I've developed, show you hopefully an example of how it works. And then when we have questions, we are going to discuss them after this part. So let's go. And this is one of my favorite quotes about storytelling, that you can never convince a chimpanzee to give you a banana by promising him some bananas in chimpanzee heaven. Only sapiens, so people, believe in such stories, and that's why we rule the world and chimpanzees don't. Uh, and why this topic? Uh, it's because everything is actually made of storytelling, so two-thirds of our conversations are actually personal stories and gossip. And this is how we exchange information as human beings. Uh, and speaking about the business world, uh, this is my CV, the CV of an ordinary person, so to say. It's nicely made with all those contexts and results oriented formulas with numbers and everything. And this is to the right, as I call it, the perfect CV. I've had this screenshot maybe a couple weeks now as an example of how to explain your experience in, I don't know, 4 bullet points. President of OpenAI, CTO of Stripe, which is a powerhouse fintech startup, and education from MIT and Harvard. What could be better? You don't have to explain it in many words, you know. And this is Greg Brockman, by the way. But the thing is, if your background is clear like that, it's not because you're lucky, it's because someone has spent millions of dollars. And those corporations and institutions have literally spent millions of dollars each to represent themselves and their brands. Uh, and when we are entering the global market, and I believe me and you and our listeners can relate, our entrance looks more like this. And this screenshot is from a person I have been considering as a research partner for academic research papers. Uh, and I had to Google his universities because I don't know what is Multan, what is Lahore. This is, I believe this is Pakistan. And those are pretty good universities there. But before Googling that, I didn't have any clue. So, and this is how we look to the global market a lot of times. And this is normal. And this is why we have to tell our story. And before we dive into techniques, I want to show you some proofs how it really works and why it works. So storytelling helps to stay remembered, create emotions, and get more money. And this is what people use in their Oscar speeches, you know. So the first interesting fact, which I love, and which was in the announcement of this speech, is that within 1 hour, people forget 50%. So within an hour, you're going to forget 50%. It's normal. And within 1 month, you're going to only remember 20%.
Wow.
Yeah. And the way it works is that the listener's brain is trying to predict what happens next. And when we catch a surprise, something interesting, something important, the emotion actually makes us mark this as important. And this is how we understand that this piece of information is worth remembering. And to raise this memorability of 50%, to like 80%, which is pretty impressive. In this BBC study, they triggered more emotional moments. So when they raised the number of emotional moments from 5 to 12, this raised the memorability from 50 something to 80 something percent, which is pretty impressive. So just trigger more emotions and you're going to be remembered. And yeah, in marketing, it's called pain points, problems or challenges for the target audience. And when they hear a story that resonates with their experience, their brain releases oxytocin, and this is how a brand-consumer relationship starts. And this is why we actually use those pain points when we are writing marketing texts. So we are trying to write not only about the product, but also about the customer's pain points. Yeah, and this is a real story. I've recently went to a conference, and it was really like that, me trying to tell about my marketing projects. But when I told one guy that actually do sailing as a hobby in Montenegro, he told me, you should start your speech about yourself from sailing because it's so much more interesting than what you told before. So it was a good thing to just see, how people get excited about some personal touch and something that raises more emotions than just you restating the nice projects that you have done. Yeah, and 72% of social media users actually prefer interactions with brands who use storytelling because, again, it means more emotions and more fun. And for the brand, it means increased sales. And this is actually a research about money, how
Mm.
storytelling helps fundraise. Uh, this was a charity fundraiser for Zambians who were facing hunger. And in version one, they told about 3 million people who faced hunger and raised $1.14 per person. And then they doubled the amount by telling a story of 7-year-old girl called Rokia from the same population. And this is an actual study from Carnegie Mellon University. So they actually proved that storytelling actually helps to earn money.
That's so true. Thank you so much for bringing this point. It's very important for me as a non-profit founder to be able to tell stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
So we can perfect it, of course, our entire life. But how do we start? To be more practical, we start collecting information by thinking of people's goals. So you think about your own goals. Maybe you want to get a job, maybe you want to fundraise, maybe you want a new project, maybe you need to find an employee for your startup, like anything. You're going to meet some new contacts. They have their own goals. If they are executive in the business, they most likely want to meet their KPIs, impress someone, achieve their other goals, business and personal. And also sometimes there are goals of the platform. Like when I go to a conference, I understand that the organizers, they also have their own goals to get good reviews, attract audience. And this is why actually it's so important to have your own audience, at least a little bit, because when organizers see that you have maybe many subscribers on LinkedIn, they like it because it means that people actually listen to you and follow you.
So
So
you're
we
an
think
influencer
me, no, not yet, but I'm actually working on it. So maybe I will be.
for sure.
Yeah. So we think about those goals and we introduce ourselves. I bring examples from LinkedIn because I like it. It's my favorite platform, and that's actually the platform I'm mostly present on. So we stated like what I do. These are examples from real people that I like. Like, for example, CEO and founder of this and this company. This is standard.
Mhm.
You list big brands and achievements, like head of engineering of PayPal, not to be that guy from Pakistan that most people don't know where he worked just because they are from another country. If you don't have big brands, you state achievements just in the number of money. For example, this guy, Evan, $5 billion raised. This is great.
Wow.
Uh, you can add tools and specifics he used. Like in his example, he says that he helps tech, healthcare, and consumer founders, so specific niches.
Mhm.
Uh, you can add tools like scaling brands on social media using multi-channel strategy, creativity, and viral content. So this is really clear. Again, more numbers. And what's important is having a personal touch. Like this woman is not only a founder, a speaker, but also a mother, and this is important for her. So she lists this as well. Again, it's trigger an emotion, the same thing as with my sailing.
Yeah.
And you kind of label yourself. I'm a marketer, an investor, amateur speaker, something like that. So you understand. So you make them understand that you are a tool for certain problems. But for storytelling, it's not really a character. To make it a character, you should add something like a tone of voice or an archetype. Archetype, it's one interesting thing uh, to study. I had more examples of use of archetypes in brands. Like, for example, Nike is a stereotypical hero brand. Victoria's Secret, for example, is using the lover archetype. Here we have magician, for example. I'm just trying to be short, so I didn't bring a million examples into my slides. Uh, and basically, this theory comes partially from myths, like from ancient myths, and partially from Jung psychology. Uh, and those archetypes are stereotypical patterns that make people easier understand who you are and how you behave in terms of character, not in terms of you being a marketer or founder. So thinking of what kind of archetype you are, like you are a hero, you want to always win, or you are an adventurer, you're looking for some new lands, or you are a beautiful woman, or you are a magician, you are bringing some new tricks to the table. And if you understand your type of role in the society, role in any room, you can spice your stories up a little bit. But you got to be careful because if you bring those personalities, especially into the corporate world, it has to be done really with caution.
Yeah.
So now to the techniques about how to actually tell those stories. Now that we have a persona, this we described ourselves, like who we are and what we do. Now we need a story about this character. So the techniques are 3x structure and hero journey, what we came through. A fun technique I'm going to talk about, I found from another person, 10 facts from my future, like writing a CV from the future, structuring, which actually I gathered from consulting. And anchor and kicker is how to grab attention and how to tell people what they got to do and what they got to remember in the end.
Mm.
So the 3x structure, uh, this comes actually from Sid Field, from theatrical and cinema plotlines and literature as well. So how to craft a story for arts, and you got to have the setup, the normal life of this character, and then they face some kind of conflict. And then there is escalation of this conflict, climax, and it somehow resolves. So it's a conflict of do A versus do B, and they somehow are forced with this problem. There is a confrontation. They are forced to choose either A or B. They cannot go back, and they choose something, and the conflict resolves. And for us as business people, this means that don't tell us about how successful you are. Tell us about the obstacles you overcame. Yeah. And the climax should be like a bridge to a new story. I remembered a little story from my personal experience when I really wanted to go to Big Three Consulting. I went towards this goal several years. I got promotions. I showed them on my CV. I passed this CV screening test and everything. So this was my super big goal, super big dream to be a McKinsey consultant. Uh, I didn't become a McKinsey consultant, but I became a Bain consultant, which is
Oh,
also cool. And they gave me the offer, and I was so happy. But on my first day of work, it was the first day of COVID lockdown.
oh, come on.
So this is kind of a story in itself, but this is kind of a great example of a conflict. So
Yeah,
so you have this dilemma of what you expected it to be versus what it really is in reality, and you get to choose. Do you stay in this environment, which is kind of different from what you expected, or are you gonna do something else? And long story short, this is how I transitioned to tech, actually, to
that's
startup.
very interesting.
Yeah. Hero journey. It's actually similar to this three-act plot structure a little bit, but the important highlights of this journey are meeting the mentor. The person goes on the journey, and they meet some kind of a guide who shows them the land and who helps them walk there. Then they face some kind of obstacles, the same as we discussed the conflict, but here. Uh, it's called Shadow Self, Abyss, and actually Virtual Death. So this hero kind of faces death, and when they are transformed, reborn, uh, they bring some kind of insights that they bring home as artifacts of their transformation. So when you hear transformational stories, like, I was this and this kind of person, uh, and then I became this hero, this is most likely a hero journey.
I think this is one of the most popular storytelling technique.
Yeah,
I
it
Yeah,
is. It is. And they say that Star Wars are based on it. Harry Potter is also based on it. So this is like a really popular technique that actually evolves and transitions a little bit, but uh, it's actually used in a lot of art as well.
yeah. I'm using it too for my introduction.
Wow, yeah, yeah, cool. This one is called 10 Facts from My Future. This is actually from Pavel Gittelman. I heard it from him, maybe somebody else uses it. Uh, it's like imagining your CV in 5, 10, or I don't know, 15 years, like in a big period of time. Oops.
Just a small remark, like from people who are watching us in the North America, we are talking about resumes. So in Europe it's CV, in North America it's resume. Just to clarify.
Oh, really? Fun, fun. Yeah, so imagine what you have achieved. Uh, like what you achieved in those years. Write 10 facts, where you're going to be, what your big accomplishments are, and you actually tell people about it. Like, I'm learning to be this, I'm working on that. And I've even listed my own couple of examples to show how it could be. So, I'm looking for becoming a well known startup advisor in product and marketing. I'm working on getting my talent visa to the US. So, this is actually one of the goals of mine. Uh, I'm on my way to launching a media platform for sports and wellness. And when I really grow up really big and old, I want to be a lecturer at Stanford and a motivational speaker.
That's so fun. Actually, I see the that a lot of founders are using this technique for pitch decks. I also using this technique for pitch deck, and we are starting like imagine the future where and blah blah blah. So this is also very popular technique here in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and also it's kind of popular because when you are a startup or when you just are beginning your career, for example, uh, you don't have anything to show yet. So you have not achieved any big achievements because you are just starting. And this is how you can label yourself from the point of future. And also, remember those three circles in the presentation where your goals, your counterparts' goals, and the platform's goals, when they're all matching. So when you talk about those openly, that those are my goals, people can be, hey, I can help you with this. For example, I can refer
Yeah.
you to the right people, or I can show you good sources of knowledge, or I can offer you a job that can bring you to that. So this is a really inspiring tool.
Yeah, and I also heard that people are asking, show me the scale of your dreams. So they want to know how big you can imagine, like how far you can see.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so when you have a lot of facts from past and from future, to keep the structure, this is more business-like. This is our back to consulting thing. Uh, this framework is actually called tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Like we also have this. I'm actually using this in. This very presentation. So I have an intro. This is what we're going to talk about. Right now, we are talking about it. And then in the end, I have a recap. Uh, and in consulting, it's really popular to split your talking points into three of something. I don't know why. It's just mostly a tradition. So bring me like 3 points. And mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. This is the principle of representing the whole concept and not like doubling yourself. And this is actually a really good book, and the principle by Barbara Minto. And I googled her when I was preparing to this presentation, uh, and uh, she is still alive. She's 90 years old, and she was the first female MBA consultant hired at McKinsey back in the 60s.
Wow.
So, so right now it's no surprise that they have female MBAs, but before the 60s, like unbelievably, they didn't accept females
Yeah,
into Harvard Business School, and that's why consulting firms hired only men for those positions. Yeah, so also inspiring story. Uh, so to almost finish our storytelling techniques, the anchor or hook, this is the first intriguing sentence to get the attention. Like when you're starting your presentation, do you know I'm going to tell you a big secret or something like that? Do you know? So this is an example like this. And the kicker is something that you use in the very end. And this I got from Seda Kasparova, from this sermon structure, which is similar to this three-piece structure, but it goes like this. If you remember one fact or do one thing after this presentation, then it got to be this. And my example is this. If our listeners do something after this meeting, this presentation, uh, it would be write your bio. Just set yourself up a Google Doc or Notion and just write that bio, short form, long form, whatever, and copy those descriptions, introductions, maybe from conferences, from some descriptions that you write people in chat, like, hi, I'm Jane, I do blah, 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 and just copy and paste that. And then you have a collection of good introductions, of good stories about yourself, and you can mix and match them. And this saves a lot of time, really.
that's true.
So, the recap of the tools that we've discussed. So, you state your goal and the goals of people around you. You prepare a list of facts about yourself from past and future. You find emotional triggers, what's going to surprise people. You craft stories with the conflict and the hero transformation from hero journey. You structure your facts, your intro, your like three or not three facts, and then tell them what you told them. Uh, and then you list your kicker, which is one main takeaway from your speech. Yeah. And so this was my main presentation. And this is our friend here, ChatGPT. So I'm gonna soon transition to showing you guys how my assistant looks like. Oh wait,
Oh,
you said the presentation. Yeah, but I remember I still prepared a couple slides on how to do the prompts. So I'm gonna show you how I've done it, the result and the process. But I included some prompting principles for people who are maybe just starting using the customized GPTs. I think this is gonna be useful, right?
I think so. I'm sure.
Yeah. Uh, so I'm gonna show you this interface, but basically it's really simple. Simple. You name your GPT. You give a description that people are gonna see, and you
Mm,
give the instructions in plain words, and then you just check out how it works. And if it works in some weird way, you just adjust. And the basic principles are giving them a persona. Like for this task is like top keynote speaker or marketer or something like that. You state the task you're gonna achieve. Like you're gonna give me a personal story, a bio, whatever.
mhm,
You can give it sources of knowledge. You can share PDFs with it. And one thing I've tried with this particular GPT is creating a step-by-step process. And uh, these are some of the prompting phrases that I particularly found useful because honestly, uh, almost all of my GPTs go wrong in the beginning and I have to fix something. But after I fix something, I learn something new. So, for example, not to be this AI mechanical, super smart words that no human people use. Uh, it's nice advice to give your GPT a real name, like your Sam, Erin, I don't know, whatever. You
mhm,
write for first person. Uh, you can add, for example, US English or British English or whatever you're writing. And you can explicitly mention not giving away AI. And it's starting to be a little bit more human. Uh, and also, another thing I could add here is saying to it that use, for example, college level English or use high school level English or like eighth grader level English or explain it, I don't know, to like 7-year-old kids or something like that. But it's not always working super cool. Again, just with trial and error. So
mhm.
be precise and concise. This is a phrase that people use a lot in prompting. It just reduces the hallucinations, the imaginary facts when she's starting just, make stuff up. Uh, so limit your response to 1-2 questions. This really helped me build this one, this particular GPT I'm going to show you, because at first it initially started asking me, I don't know, a list of 10 questions. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your business strategy or something like that. So uh, just limiting the wordiness, so to say, of GPT is limit your response or limit your sentences to this. Uh, and this one, when giving a response, omit any references to me, the requester. Avoid any intro outro language in your responses. This helped me actually a lot to avoid restatements. This one I found in Reddit, I believe. So this is not my prompt. This is somebody else's that worked really nicely because a recent problem with GPT that I had is when, I don't know if you faced it, but when you give it a piece of text and what it's starting to do is just restating your text. And if it's
Yeah.
really lengthy, it just takes a lot of time. So this omit any references to me and avoid any intro-outro language. This just helps stop these lots of restatements that it does, especially recently. And follow exactly step by step. It's when you're building a process and you're telling it to actually do it step by step.
Mhm. Just a quick question. Is it available for a free version of ChatGPT or it should be paid version where you
Uh,
can build an assistant?
I think it's paid version, uh, but in the free version right now, if I remember correctly, because I just have paid version, so uh,
Mhm.
I just talked to people. Using somebody else's GPTs is allowed, but for this ChatGPT 4.0, the new one, they just limit the number of requests.
I see.
So, for example, people without a paid subscription, they should be able to use my GPT with just limited number of requests. But
Oh,
for building the new ones, I'm honestly not sure, but I think not.
okay. So we will be able to use your assistant, the one you
Yeah,
built for us.
yeah. Hopefully, let's try, and actually let me log in from another account which is not paid and just test it because I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, this is the page with the link to the GPT, with the links to all my profiles, the website. Uh, yeah, and but we're not saying goodbye right now because we are just
We just
uh,
started.
skipping the presentation and starting to present the GPT.
So I will add all the links to your profile below this video in the description.
Ah, yeah, amazing. So, do you see the GPT right now?
Yep.
Great. So, yeah, this is our little GPT. I called it Networking Story Helper. It's already built with this description of stuck with tell me a bit about yourself. Uh, and before we start running it, I will show you really quick how to do it. So basically, to make your own GPT, uh, you can go to, for example, Explore GPTs. You can first look for something. Uh, you can actually look for personal story, for example. Yeah, you see that
Wow.
there are
I didn't know such stuff exists.
huh?
I didn't know such stuff exists. Wow.
Yeah, you actually can use other people's GPTs. So
What?
this is like a store, and there are actually popular GPTs. For example, this one consensus is really popular for scientific research, and the other popular one from the store I use is called Data Analyst. This one is good for dropping here any files. For example, you can save your Excel files or save them like PDF and share it with the data analyst, and it can spot the trends, stuff like that. So this is a really good one. But if you're making your own, you can just press here, create. So this is what I've done.
Mhm.
I'm also developing a bot on CEO, but it's not going really well so far. So this is our bot. I will show. I will press edit to show you how it goes. So you create this picture, which is basically DALL-E image generation. You give it a name. You give it a description that's going to show here. Uh, and you're going to give it instructions. So this is what I've told you before. The persona, who it is. It's proficient business storyteller, marketer, public speaker. You help people with crafting personal stories. Only reply as Nate in first person US English. And this is right here. When giving a response, omit any references to me as the requester. So then I asked it to follow the numbered steps. These are some formulations that just help the GPT to actually follow those steps. And this is what I've been doing in the presentation is this context, asking for your profile, asking about the counterparts of the person you're going to meet, like restatement, asking for format, asking how long the story needs to be, what tone you like, and then it's going to just provide the story and ask for corrections. And some more instructions on the tone of voice, stuff like that. And the ChatGPT invented these conversation starters. So these are like popular examples how to use your GPT. So here I imagined the story for HR interview, the elevator pitch of a business, intro for a party full of new people, and a date night.
Ooh.
Yeah, and here you can also upload knowledge. So PDF files go here. And actually, I didn't specifically tell it. Maybe I should have. But I have uploaded, for example, here our presentation with all the techniques listed.
Mhm.
And here you can, so image generation allowed, code interpreter. So you can actually share some code with it if you are a programmer, but I'm not.
So what is the create new action means?
Create new action is usually some connections with other apps, like send
Okay,
an email, stuff like that.
got it.
Yeah. So basically, if you are not a developer and you are not familiar with APIs or anything, so this is just what you do. You instruct it in plain words.
Mhm.
So let's see how it works. Do we have some time? Oh yeah, I think we have like
Yeah.
15 minutes for that. So let's choose this. Let me share the hypothetical scenario that I thought of. Me and you, Kate, we already know each other, but some time ago we first met, and
Mhm.
I just imagined this situation over again. So, what if I used this GPT to help me create a self-presentation of myself to you? And I just downloaded both our LinkedIn profiles to feed into the GPT, so I already have them on my computer.
Wow.
So it's a pitch for networking, more or less. Oh, since I fed the presentation to this,
Mhm.
it already knows that I'm me. Interesting.
That's
So
scary.
yeah, that's scary because before I fed the presentation to the GPT, it didn't happen.
Mm.
Let's just tell it to Kate.
So you're basically talking with your assistant,
Yeah.
with your virtual assistant.
So I'm meeting a career development community head, Kate. So yes,
Mhm.
so please share your LinkedIn profile.
Oh, you can share the link. In
No,
PDF format. So it's telling you in PDF format. Got it.
yeah, it's in PDF format, but actually I should check because the latest version, the Omni, is like 1 month ago, I think. It can actually read link. Okay, so it's asking me what big goal you are trying to accomplish. I would like to just speak at a webinar. I'm actually looking to speak more. So,
Wow, there's more questions.
yeah. So, who are you going to meet there? So, I was meeting you. So, I already knew your LinkedIn profile. I haven't shown it because I was actually afraid that my internet is bad. But on LinkedIn, you can go to the profile, tap more, and there is an option like upload to PDF. Yeah, so the GPT, it recaps. So it says, you, Jane Kubrak, founder of Discover with Jane, event meeting with Kate Kaseyeva, goal to secure an invitation to speak at a webinar, and your information, founder and president of Career Pathway Institute. So knows everything.
Oh gosh.
So,
That's impressive and scary at the same time.
yeah. So is this summary accurate? Let's say yes. So, do you want? See, it knows all the techniques as well. So, do you want a
Yeah.
business-like narrative or emotion-catching story?
Oh my god.
Okay, let's see emotional. I haven't tried this option, I think, as
Let's
much.
see.
Okay, how long should the story be in minutes or words? I usually say it 1 minute, but okay, let's do 30 seconds.
Yeah, let's limit to 300 characters.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the standard of LinkedIn intro.
Okay, 300 characters. Okay. Uh, see the smart machine. I've answered the tone of voice with 300 characters, and it repeated the question. So, what tone would you like? Okay, let it be humorous. It's already Friday night where I am, so it's like Friday night fun.
Well, let's see.
So, hi Kate, I'm Jen Kubrak, a product marketing wizard. Wow. And founder of Discover with Jane. I've launched startups, tackled trends, and even made numbers tell a story. Let's chat about how I can bring some magic to your next webinar. Wow.
Ooh, that's eye-catching.
Actually, just playing with this bot, I realized that GPT is starting to understand a bit of humor. Because when I told it for the scenario for the dating, that I run marathons, it interpreted it in humorous way that you run awkward distances for fun or something like that.
Okay, let's try more casual. What will suggest you? Just to play with different tone of voice.
Should we have a new one, or you just want to update this one?
Yeah, just regenerate in a casual way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, I love turning ideas into successful products. Let's chat about how I can bring some fun insights to your next webinar.
Wow, I like it.
Yeah, this one is good. Casual, really.
Crisp and clear. It's exactly what you're looking in LinkedIn. Like it's a
Yeah.
professional, but more way, more
Oh, let's
casual.
do a official version, please. Let's figure. Oh, yeah, these are the big words. With extensive
Yeah,
experience, product marketing and strategy, I specialize in transforming ideas into successful products. Yeah, I look
this is
forward.
so ChatGPT.
Yeah, this one is so ChatGPT, but actually, this is formal language. Yeah,
It is, yeah.
yeah. So
And
it's
it's very helpful for speakers like me, whose English is a second, fourth, third, fourth language. It's very,
yeah.
very useful.
Actually, I don't even have a customized GPT for it. But one task I've been using GPT for a lot uh, is writing abstracts for conferences. So I
Oh,
apply to
wow.
conferences, also the scientific ones. And when you need to write something really official, really scientific, I just give it the information, like my ideas. I should write about this, and that, uh, and just make me an abstract of, I don't know, 250 words, and it's just doing a great job. I recently got accepted to a conference
Congratulations.
with this GPT. Well, of course, I edited, make sure that it covers all the right things. But mostly what I do, uh, I just tell it how to improve. So, for example, I do not edit the text myself. I just say, I don't like this paragraph. For example, let's rephrase to bring more of this and that meaning, and it does all of it for me.
Wow. So let me ask you a question about the assistant you just created. You
Mhm.
can continue using this assistant just for different tasks, or if you need to start a new task, what should you do? Like start a new chat with this assistant, or how it works?
Yes. So you see, this one knows about the personal stories and CVs and all that. So for
Hmm.
completely different tasks, uh, like hopefully soon I'm gonna conquer this CEO, which is called CEO Samba.
Samba.
Yeah. So so for example, for different stuff or for like conferences. Uh, so this is completely different story. I would just create another assistant. For now, I think I'm just for the abstracts for conferences. I'm just using the consensus.
Hmm.
And for this one, uh, when you finish the dialogue, you can just go out of it and basically go to the screen, like starting screen again. So I just clicked it here, and you will start a new chat and go decide to know date night.
Wow. So, what other assistants do you have except Storyteller? What kind of assistant you can create to boost your productivity?
Actually, I'm just lately developing those customized, the ones I've told you, because we can use just the normal ChatGPT and just tell it here in the message what we need to do. That's like what most people do.
Yeah.
So I've been mostly using this. So I've just recently tried to customize the tasks, and uh, for now I just have this CEO. Uh, so data analyst, I'm pretty confident that it does a good job, so I do not adjust it. I've created one writing assistant for my client project. well, Queen of Compliments. This was actually the first GPT I've ever created, the custom GPT. It gave girls compliments on Women's Day.
Oh, that's so cute.
So it was just me playing around, having fun. So for now, the key tool is would be this SEO, so the optimization with keywords of the text, because it's honestly a boring task that GPT is good for. Uh, this networking and intro thing I'm gonna develop. The conferences, I think that's mostly it for now.
Wow, Jen, that's very
Maybe,
impressive.
maybe rewriting my posts for different channels. Like, for example, right now I mostly write on LinkedIn. But if I decide to launch Twitter, for example, I'm thinking about it. So if I do, I would maybe develop an assistant that not only repurposes posts for other platforms, because the normal GPT can do it, so you don't have to customize an assistant to do that, but to teach it to write like me.
Mhm.
Uh, and actually, I've registered for a free webinar with Tony Robbins. It's been around a lot of commercials. I'm almost sure that you have seen it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I see it.
and in this webinar, I've been there yesterday. So Tony Robbins created, with Dean Graziosi, they created the assistant that helps people with their strategy, with creating their information products, uh, and that's what they're proud of. Teaching the assistant to think like them.
Hmm.
So teaching their principles, feeding their, I don't know, most likely because they have several books written, each of them. Uh, I'm almost sure they can just feed the books into the GPT. Of course, it's all super fancy and it's on their website, but I'm almost sure that they just have this API of ChatGPT. So the front end is their website, but the back end is just the ChatGPT API. And I was watching that. So I'm honestly admiring the instrument. It's super cool instrument, and uh, developing this assistant that thinks like you. It's a great task. So maybe I should do it. But I was like in the Tony Robbins webinar, I was like, oh, I'm almost sure I know how they've done it.
Well, thank you so much, Jane, for sharing your experience with us. If we will do a summary of what we've been talking today and sharing just one thought, what it will be, like what our participants should take from our
Uh,
webinar today.
so from the entire webinar, I would say uh, craft your stories. So for the practical part, I already told that collect your bio, uh, make it ready for your next event, for your next intro, but also craft your stories with interesting moments, with fun moments. And make a collection of those moments in, again, your notes or your Notion, uh, like a collection of anecdotes of your small and big achievements, of something fun that happened to you. Uh, and this would make your next story so much brighter.
Thank you so much once again, and thank you everyone for watching. If you have questions to Jane, please don't hesitate to reach out to her on LinkedIn, on Telegram, on Instagram, where you presented. And you're welcome to contact me as well if you need a career or leadership coach. And I'm hosting those live streams on a regular basis, so make sure to subscribe to my channel and also to give me a like. So thank you once again for watching and see you soon.
Thank you very much and see you in the next events.
Bye.
Bye.